Some good news. Godzilla Minus Zero, not minus one. Godzilla Minus Zero gets its release date announcement. Now, this did actually happen at the weekend, so I'm a little bit delayed on this, so I do apologise. But I love Godzilla, and I adored Godzilla Minus One. Thought it was just such an incredible feat, knowing the budget that they had, and also, I guess, the pressures, not necessarily pressures, but the desire to differentiate yourself from the westernized version, but at least make it somewhat similar in some capacity, so there could be a crossover. I think Toho did a really good job of capitalizing on what Legendary has done for their brand in the Western market. I loved Godzilla Minus One. I thought it was just such a brilliant film. And I also think Takashi Yamazaki, which I think I've said that correctly, I think they deserved much more accolades. Him specifically and the whole team deserved many more accolades than what they got. But hey, I'll take what I got because it was great. But yeah, I'm a little bit late, but I'm here now, so we're going to talk about it. So Godzilla Minus Zero is being released in November, right? It actually does have a North American release. So it does actually have a release date for North America as well. I'm surprised it has distribution. Well, I guess I'm not that surprised. The last film did so well. It's not a surprise that it got North American distribution. So, as this article says, Godzilla is coming back with a vengeance. Toho and G-Kids have officially announced that Godzilla Minus Zero will hit North American theatres on November 6, 2026, following its November 3rd premiere in Japan. So I think that's cool. 3 days after. I do wonder whether we will get a release date in Britain, in the UK. I don't care about Europe. Well, someone else can worry about Europe getting a release date. I'm mainly focused on whether we here in the UK is going to get a release date, which I think they announced quite late in the game with Godzilla Minus One that we were going to be getting a release date. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope it does. I don't see why it wouldn't. It did well here as well. So it's a symbolic date marking the original release of Godzilla back in 1954. So I like that. That's cool. It's a nice nod, isn't it? So director and screenwriter, and also he did a bunch of the VFX stuff. Takashi Yamazaki returns for the highly anticipated sequel to 2023's Godzilla Minus One, which earned over $116 million worldwide and became the first ever Asian film to win Best Visual Effects at the Oscars. And this was made for the estimate was like $12 million. And the thing is, what people don't realise, or what anyone that was doing any box office reporting on this, if they failed to mention the fact that Toho physically actually does own a whole bunch of the theatres in Japan where this movie showed, so they were just taking in all of the profit, minus wages and stuff, but you get my drift, right? It wasn't like a split with the theatres like they have to do in the Western world. It made so much money for Toho, so much money. Just astronomical sums of cash. Yeah, madness. And again, like they say here, it became the first ever Asian film to win Best Visual Effects. And the visual effects were brilliant. I loved the visual effects. I thought they were great. So you had this statement from G-Kids. G-Kids is proud to bring Godzilla Minus Zero to North American audiences following the incredible global reception of Godzilla Minus One. And this is G-Kids president David Gisted. I'm butchering that. This next chapter is sure to become another defining moment for the most colossal monster ever to dominate the screen. It is only fitting that this bold new Godzilla event be experienced in its fullest theatrical glory, and we're honoured that Toho has entrusted us to carry this legacy forward. And this is the posters that were released. Godzilla Minus Zero. you can see what looks very, very plainly to me anyway to be sort of a bird's eye view, I guess, of Godzilla wreaking destruction below the clouds with his atomic breath. That's what it looks like to me. Right? You can see the clouds, the blue hue, which again we previously got on his tail as he was about to do atomic breath, atomic blast. And that's what it looks like to me. It just looks like he's doing that below the clouds, which... wicked. Brilliant. What is annoying about this is we don't have any idea what the story is. We don't even 100% know whether this is actually a sequel to Godzilla Minus One. It's highly likely to be, because it is of course called Godzilla Minus Zero, but it was never confirmed that it was going to follow on from that film. Ever. They've not revealed any plot details. It's all under wraps. Minus Zero, the title, suggests a direct thematic follow-up to Minus One, which portrayed Japan as being brought below zero after the devastation of World War II, only to be further crushed by Godzilla's rampage. Now, there was actually quite a lot that Godzilla Minus One established to move things forward, right? Like there was that infection, the sort of Godzilla infection that you could sort of see in the love interest, which is a really tragic way to close the film. Like, genuinely, if you've not watched Godzilla Minus One, you're doing yourself a disservice, because it's a brilliant film, but it's a brilliant Godzilla film, but it's brilliant as a film anyway. Like, it has a great story. And they actually managed to utilize the humans to a far better degree than what Legendary has ever done. Their human characters in the Legendary movies are terrible, at best. Like, they struggle to give us a story. This isn't like a Legendary versus Toho video, but just for argument's sake, Legendary almost struggles to give us a compelling human narrative to go along with a compelling monster narrative. So both are seemingly lackluster at all times, which works when they're trying to hit the child market, but for everyone else, you're left wanting. And I actually think Apple TV did a pretty good job of doing a reasonably compelling, at least the retro stuff in the Monarch Legacy of Monsters. So, but anyway, there's a lot you could set up, and Takashi Yamazaki has been on record and said, I want to do like a monster on monster fight. I want to introduce more monsters. So I hope this is going to be a sequel, and I hope we get to see his new incarnation of other monsters. I'd love that. I think that'd be brilliant. So there you go. Thoughts? Will you be there day one? I'm sure you will.